My name is Heather. Welcome to my channel. This is very new to me, but I've always loved writing. It's something I've done since I was a little kid, but I've always been too shy and nervous and embarrassed to talk to other people about it. But a YouTuber recommended on one of his videos this book, Show Your Work by Austin Kleon, and it's motivated me to really try to become a part of the writing community and to step outside of my comfort zone. Which by the way, it was Ali Abdal who spoke about it on his channel, so if I can find that video again, I will link it. So question 1, how did you discover AuthorTube? And to answer that, I'm pretty sure it was Heart Breathings, Sarah Cannon's writing channel, where she talked about multi-POV books, or either that or her series stuff, where she talked about how to plan a series. And at the time I was trying to tackle my first ever series. It still is my only series that I'm currently writing, and so her videos were really helpful. Question 2, what genres do I write in? I have 4 completed rough drafts, 1 that I wrote in high school, 1 that I wrote in college, and 2 that I've written since the pandemic has started. None of them are completed or ready to be published, although I am currently striving on that with the later 2. But to answer the question, the genres. The first one was a paranormal thriller that took place when I wrote it, so in 2007. The second one is a cozy winter slice of life kind of book. And then there's the last 2, which are historical and fantasy adventure. So like pirates and assassins and witches, taking place in the Middle East in the 1600s is what I'm currently writing, and I'm really excited for it. This is the series that I really want to get published, whether it be traditional or self-published, I don't know yet. But it means it's been the most fun I've ever had writing, so I think that's the genre I'm going to stick into, is kind of like that swashbuckling or that just heavy fantasy. Question 3, what is your preferred tense, POV, and age category? My preferred tense is past. The second rough draft I ever wrote was present tense, which was fun, but I get kind of thrown off when I read stuff like that, so I do prefer past. Point of view, my first 2 are first person. I find it much easier to write, but I've been convinced that third person is what most people find easier to read and digest, and so I'm still struggling to get that voice down. And the last part, age category, I like to write YA, but I think now that I'm getting older, I think it's starting to enter like the early 20s kind of age group thing. Question 4, am I a plotter or a pantser? I am a heavy outliner. I mean, like intense. The first 2 rough drafts I wrote had no outline, oh my gosh, it meandered. My first rough draft ever was like 900 pages. It went on. The second one had actually a plot and was more structured, but I didn't really know what I was doing. The last 2 though, I did extensive outlining. Like my outlines are like 200 pages. I mean, it's got dialogue, it's got setting the scene. It's basically, I don't know what a 0 draft is, but every time somebody says it, I picture my outline. Question 5, am I self-published, traditionally published, or yet to be published? I've gotten some nonfiction published, but I don't really count those, because that's not my dream, it's not my ultimate goal, so I'm unpublished. Question 6, what kind of content can you expect here? Writing vlogs. Particularly, I'm going through the second draft of my swashbuckling adventure novel, and I'm gonna finish the revisions by March 31st, so I'm hoping to vlog about that process because it's very new to me. Then I'm gonna tackle revisions for the sequel, which I finished the rough draft again December 31st, so I'm gonna go into first drafts with that immediately after. I also really want to talk about good stories, like kind of like book reviews, only talk about the ones that are really near and dear to my heart, but I feel like aren't getting the hype they deserve. So story raves that could be books, movies, video games, but mostly books. Number 7, when did I start writing? A long time ago. My first ever story, I think, was when I was 9, and it was like a little booklet where I drew, and at the bottom I had like 1 or 2 sentences, and it was a Digimon fanfic. It was so embarrassing. I've actually never talked about it before, but basically, I don't know. Basically, like, Sora was kidnapped and Tai had to rescue her, and it was all underwater. I don't know how they were breathing. But that was the story. I was like a hopeless romantic, and that was like my OTP for like forever. So yeah, that's embarrassing. Number 9, who are my favorite authors? Miranda Acevedo, who wrote A Constellation of Roses and The Deeper Roots. Love them. Love those books. They're amazing. Sarah, and I hope I can say the last name, Sarah Rash, who wrote These Rebel Waves, that duology, which again is beautiful. And then I hope I get the name right, Makia Lucier. She wrote, I actually have one of her books right here from the library, Year of the Reaper. I haven't read it yet. It's my next read. So hopefully I'm really excited. But she writes Island of Blood and Stone, which was fantastic. So those were like some of my favorite authors. I have more, but I feel like I could just go on all day about that. Those are like my top 3 right now. Question 10. Do you schedule your writing times or go with the flow? Well, I'm recently a new mom. I have an 8-month-old child, and so that's changed a lot. I used to be very rigid with my habits. I would write like 3 hours a day every day, or if I missed a day, I would make up those hours, and I still do that, but now I only get 1 hour. 1 hour a day where I can just safely come into my office here and focus, and so it really helped me cut out the fat. So I'm very structured with it. I come in, take my hour, make sure I'm writing. This year I'm trying to have 0 days where I haven't written, even if it's just like 300 words of mush. I would rather get stronger on that habit than just kind of like skip it because I feel lazy kind of thing. But when it comes to when that hour is, that's where it's pretty flexible. Like the hour could be at 9 a.m. or at 9 p.m. It's whenever. Mostly when my child goes down for a nap, that's when I'll sneak off to take my hour, and if my little one wakes up, then my husband will take care of that during that hour. Question 11. What medium and where do I write? So I use a laptop now, but the keyboard is like broken in a way. Like certain keys just in this diagonal on the keyboard don't want to work, so I have to use a mechanical keyboard because that's what I have. So I tend to stay in my office because it's kind of awkward to like lug it all around to like the library and to the lounge of my apartments and stuff. Although I feel kind of bad because the keyboard is loud. It's supposed to mimic a typewriter, so I feel kind of rude taking it in public. So I write on my laptop, and I write typically here in my office or out in the kitchen if I'm watching my little one. As for software, I did my rough drafts in a program called Liquid Storybinder, but when I just finished this recent rough draft, I didn't want to compile all of it, so it ended up being, I think, 92,000 words, and it only wanted to keep 70,000. and so I'm not sure I'm going to use it anymore. I might use Scrivener because I have that too. But there's that for the rough draft, and then for revisions I use Microsoft Word. That's what I'm comfortable in. Number 12, what do you look forward to now that you're a part of the AuthorTube community? It's definitely that community aspect. I want to hear other people talk about their writing, and I want to share what I'm passionate about with others. I want to meet other writers who love that swashbuckling fun adventure stuff like The Princess Bride, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. People who are into that like fun sense of adventure. I really want to meet people like that. I'm also just eager to step out of my shell and kind of do this uncomfortable work that is talking about my process and what I do and what means the most to me in terms of how I live my life. So that's it. That's me. That's my writing. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you have a great day. I hope to see you again. Bye.